What happens when a country music superstar sits down on The View, expecting a friendly conversation, and instead gets absolutely demolished on live television? In just 47 seconds, Joy Behar unleashes an absolute firestorm that leaves Luke Bryan speechless, the other hosts scrambling to regain control, and the entire studio in total chaos. This is the kind of train wreck television you cannot look away from. Before we dive into this insane confrontation, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, click it. We post daily videos exposing Hollywood's darkest scandals, the most explosive celebrity feuds, the backstage drama, and all the shocking moments the mainstream media won't show you. You don't want to miss what happens next, because this gets absolutely wild. So, here's what went down last night on The View, and trust me, you're not going to believe this actually happened on live television. This wasn't some scripted bit. This wasn't planned drama. This was real, raw, and completely out of control. Luke Bryan walked onto that stage yesterday with his trademark smile, waving to the audience like he's done 1,000 times before on talk shows across America. The crowd was absolutely loving him. People were cheering, standing up, taking pictures on their phones, screaming his name. He's America's sweetheart, right? The guy who sings about trucks and beer and good times and simple country living. The guy who judges American Idol and makes everyone smile. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong, and it did. Joy Behar is sitting there at the table, and from the very first second Luke walks out, something feels off. The other hosts are all smiles, welcoming him warmly, laughing at his jokes as he makes his way to the guest chair. Whoopi gives him a big hug. Sarah is gushing about how much she loves his music. Sunny is smiling and clapping along with the audience. But Joy has this look on her face. Not quite hostile yet, but definitely not friendly either. It's like she's sizing him up, studying him, waiting for exactly the right moment to strike. And if you know Joy Behar, you know that when she's got that look, somebody's about to have a very bad day. The conversation starts normal enough. They're talking about his new album, his upcoming tour dates, all the usual promotional stuff that guests come on these shows to discuss. Luke is being his charming self, cracking jokes about life on the road, making the audience laugh with stories about his kids. He's completely relaxed, leaning back in his chair, that big smile never leaving his face. Whoopi asks him about his farm in Tennessee, and he absolutely lights up talking about his animals, his tractors, how he loves getting his hands dirty working the land when he's not on stage. He talks about how his wife keeps him grounded, how his family is everything to him. The audience is eating it up. This is wholesome, feel-good television at its finest. Alyssa asks him about American Idol and what it's like working with Katy Perry and Lionel Richie. Luke tells a funny story about Lionel giving terrible advice to a contestant that actually worked somehow. Everyone's laughing. Everything seems absolutely fine. Perfect, even. But you can see Joy sitting there, and she's not really engaging. She's not laughing at the jokes. She's just watching, waiting like a predator stalking its prey. The other hosts notice it too. Whoopi keeps glancing over at Joy with this concerned look, like she knows something's coming, but doesn't know when or how bad it's going to be. About 8 minutes into the interview, after they've covered all the light topics, and everyone's comfortable, and the audience is totally on Luke's side, that's when Joy decides to make her move. "So, Luke," she says, cutting right into a conversation he's having with Sarah about songwriting, and you can immediately hear the edge in her voice. It's sharp. It's calculated. "I've been listening to some of your songs, and I gotta ask you something. Do you ever think about the message you're sending with your music?" The temperature in the room drops instantly. Luke's smile falters just a bit. He looks confused, like he's not sure if this is a serious question or if she's setting up some kind of joke. He laughs it off at first, trying to keep things light. "What do you mean? I just try to make music that makes people happy, that they can have fun with." "Right. But happy about what exactly?" Joy presses. leaning forward now, her elbows on the table. Because when I listen to a lot of your songs, what I hear is a lot about drinking, partying, treating women like objects. Don't you think that's kind of irresponsible, given your platform? The energy in the entire studio shifts immediately. You can physically feel it. The audience goes from laughing and clapping to dead silent and uncomfortable. The other hosts exchange nervous glances with each other. Whoopi tries to jump in with a joke to lighten things up, something about how everyone needs to lighten up and have fun, but Joy straight up ignores her and keeps her eyes locked on Luke. Luke sits up straighter in his chair. The smile is completely gone now. Well, Joy, I think if you actually listen to my music, really listen to it, you'd know that's not what it's about at all. I sing about life, about enjoying the moment, about love and family and finding happiness in the simple things. I've written songs about my wife, about being a father, about losing people I love. Oh, please. Joy cuts him off, mid-sentence, waving her hand dismissively. Half your songs are literally about getting drunk and chasing girls in cut-off shorts down dirt roads. Let's call it what it is. Let's not pretend it's some deep philosophical statement about life. The audience gasps. Actually gasps. You can hear it ripple through the crowd. This is not the fun, lighthearted daytime television interview they thought they were going to see. This is turning into something else entirely. Luke's jaw clenches. You can see him taking a deep breath, trying to maintain his composure. With all due respect, Joy, and I mean that sincerely, I think you're cherry-picking lyrics out of context here. I've written over 100 songs in my career. I've written dozens of songs about my wife, about being a father, about loss and heartbreak and faith. Maybe you should do your homework before you come at me like this on national television. Ooh, that was a shot. The audience reacts with quiet gasps and some scattered murmurs, even some light applause from a few people who think Luke just scored a point. But Joy? Joy doesn't even flinch. If anything, she leans in harder. I did my homework, Luke. Trust me. And what I found is a guy who's made tens of millions of dollars selling a lifestyle that glorifies excess and irresponsibility while pretending to be some authentic, down-home country boy. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the family man and the party boy at the same time. Luke's eyes go wide. What the hell are you talking about? What are you even saying right now? I came from nothing. I grew up on a farm in Georgia. I picked peanuts. I drove a tractor before I could legally drive a car. My brother died in a car accident when I was 19 years old. Don't you dare sit there and tell me I'm pretending to be something I'm not. The mention of his late brother makes the whole room even more tense. That's deeply personal. That's a wound that clearly still hurts. Several people in the audience look genuinely upset. Whoopi tries again to steer the conversation somewhere, anywhere else. Okay, let's take it down a notch here, everyone. Let's remember we're all friends. But Joy is absolutely on a roll now. She's not stopping. I'm not questioning your past, Luke. I'm not saying you didn't grow up on a farm or that you haven't experienced loss. I'm questioning your present. I'm questioning what you're doing right now. You've got this massive platform, millions and millions of fans, most of them young people, and what are you doing with it? You're telling them to crack open another beer and not think too hard about anything. You're selling them an image that doesn't exist. Luke shakes his head slowly, like he can't believe what he's hearing. You know what? I think you're completely missing the point of what country music even is. It's about real people living real lives. It's about celebrating the things that bring us together. It's about finding joy and meaning in simple things. Not everyone wants to sit around being miserable and angry and analyzing everything to death all the time. That one lands hard. You can see it in Joy's face. Her eyes flash with anger. Oh, so now I'm miserable and angry? That's really rich coming from someone who... I didn't say you specifically. Luke interrupts her right back, giving her a taste of her own medicine. But if the shoe fits, Joy, then maybe you should think about why you took it that way. Excuse me? Joy's voice goes up an octave. Her face is getting red now. You're going to come on this show, on my show, and insult me to my face? Your show? Luke lets out a bitter laugh. And there it is. This isn't about me or my music at all, is it? This is about you. This is about you showing everyone how tough and edgy you are by tearing down someone who dared to be successful doing something you don't understand or respect. You have no idea what you're talking about, don't I? You've been insulting me since the second I sat down in this chair. Luke's voice is rising now, the frustration and anger finally breaking through that country boy charm. You basically called me a fraud. You said my music is garbage. You dismissed everything I've worked for. What am I supposed to do? Just sit here and smile and take it. Is that what you want? You want me to just be a good little guest and let you walk all over me? Sarah Haynes jumps in now, her voice high and nervous, clearly trying desperately to play peacemaker. Okay, I think maybe we're all getting a little heated here. Let's just take a breath. Let's remember we're on the same team. We all want the same things. I'm not on any team with someone who thinks it's okay to judge an entire genre of music and millions of people who enjoy it, Luke says, his eyes never leaving Joy's face. I'm not on any team with someone who thinks they're better than everyone else just because they live in a big city and host a talk show. Joy laughs, but it's not a friendly laugh at all. It's sharp and mean and dismissive. Oh, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, Luke. Maybe you need to toughen up a little bit. Maybe you need to grow some thicker skin. This is what happens when you step outside your little bubble and have an actual conversation with someone instead of having people throw softball questions at you and tell you how great you are all the time. An actual conversation? Luke's voice cracks with disbelief. This is what you call an actual conversation? This is an ambush, Joy. This is a setup. You invited me here to promote my album, to have what I thought would be a normal talk show appearance, and instead you're treating me like I'm some kind of criminal who needs to answer for their crimes. Maybe you should think about why you feel so attacked when someone asks you legitimate questions about your art and what you're putting out into the world. Joy shoots back, her voice dripping with condescension. Legitimate questions? Luke is fully standing now, his hands gesturing emphatically, his voice echoing through the studio. You opened with an accusation, not a question. You didn't ask me anything. You told me what my music is about. You told me who I am, and you were dead wrong about all of it. The studio audience is completely silent now. You could literally hear a pin drop. People are uncomfortable, squirming in their seats. Some are pulling out their phones to record this. The camera operators are probably absolutely loving this because these are the moments that go viral, that people talk about for years. This is pure, unfiltered, unscripted chaos. Alyssa Farah Griffin tries desperately to intervene, her voice shaking slightly. Luke, I think what Joy is trying to say, or at least what I hope she's trying to say. I know exactly what she's trying to say. Luke cuts her off, his voice cold and hard. She thinks country music is beneath her. She thinks my fans are stupid. She thinks anyone who doesn't live in a major city and share her exact worldview is part of the problem with America. She thinks she's better than us. Joy stands up now too, pushing her chair back so hard it almost falls over. Don't you dare put words in my mouth. I never said any of those things, not one of them. You didn't have to say them explicitly, Joy. It's dripping from every single word that comes out of your mouth. It's in your tone, your body language, the way you're looking at me right now like I'm dirt on the bottom of your shoe. Oh, so now you're a mind reader on top of everything else? Joy's voice is absolutely venomous now. The other hosts look terrified. You know what your problem is, Luke? Your real problem? You can't handle criticism. You're so used to everyone kissing your ass, so used to fans screaming your name and telling you you're amazing, that the second someone challenges you, the second someone asks you to think critically about what you do, you completely fall apart. That's not criticism, Joy, Luke shouts back. That's contempt. That's disdain. And there's a massive difference, and you know it. Criticism is constructive. Criticism is thoughtful. What you're doing is just being mean for the sake of being mean. Whoopi is trying desperately to regain any semblance of control over her show. Okay, everyone needs to take a breath here, right now. Let's just calm down and... But Luke is already reaching for his microphone pack. His hands are shaking slightly as he fumbles with the clip. You know what? I don't need this. I really don't. I came here as a guest, as someone who was invited to be on this show, to have what I thought would be a nice conversation, maybe make some people smile, promote my music, but clearly that's not what this is about at all. Clearly you had a completely different agenda. Joy scoffs loudly, rolling her eyes in the most exaggerated way possible. Oh, here we go. I can't handle the heat, so you're running away. Real mature, Luke. Really showing your fans what you're made of. Luke stops what he's doing. His hands freeze on the microphone pack. He slowly looks up at Joy, and his expression is pure, undiluted anger. The kind of anger that's been building and is finally about to explode. You want to talk about maturity? How about having the maturity to treat your guests with basic human respect? How about having the maturity to separate your personal biases from your professional responsibilities? How about having the damn maturity to admit when you're wrong? The other hosts are completely frozen at this point. Nobody knows what to do. Sunny has her hand over her mouth. Sarah looks like she might actually start crying. Alyssa is just staring at the table. Whoopi is looking at the producers off stage, silently begging them to do something, anything. Joy crosses her arms defensively across her chest. I'm not wrong, and I'm not going to sit here and apologize for calling out someone who makes millions of dollars promoting a lifestyle that what, Joy? Luke interrupts, taking a step toward the table. Not in a threatening way, but in a way that makes it clear he's not backing down anymore. A lifestyle that values family, hard work, finding happiness in simple things, community. Is that what you have a problem with? Because that's what country music and country culture is actually about. That's a fantasy, Joy snaps. That's not reality. That's a brand you're selling. And what are you selling, Joy? What's your brand? Being bitter? Being cynical? Tearing people down? Making everyone around you as miserable as you clearly are? The gasps from the audience are audible now. That was a brutal hit. Joy's face goes red. How dare you come on this show and speak to me like that? I've been doing this for decades. I've interviewed presidents, world leaders, people who actually matter in this world. That's it. That's the line that breaks everything. Oh, so I don't matter? Is that what you're saying right now? Luke's voice drops to almost a whisper, but somehow that makes it even more powerful. The microphones pick up every word. My fans don't matter. The millions of people who listen to my music and find joy in it, they don't matter. The silence that follows is absolutely deafening. It stretches out for what feels like forever. Everyone is waiting to see what Joy will say next, how she'll respond to that. Joy realizes immediately that she might have gone too far, but she's way too proud to back down now. She's in too deep. I'm saying that maybe, just maybe, your music and your fans aren't as important in the grand scheme of things as you seem to think they are. There are bigger issues in the world than whether people can line dance to your latest single. That's it. That's the final straw. The moment where any chance of salvaging this interview dies completely. Luke's entire face goes red. His hands are clenched into fists at his sides, not in a threatening way, but like he's physically restraining himself. You know what? Screw this. Screw this entire show. Screw your elitist, condescending attitude. My fans? The people you just completely dismissed like they're nothing? They're teachers and nurses and construction workers and soldiers and truck drivers. They're the people who actually keep this country running while you sit up here in your Manhattan studio looking down on everyone who doesn't live exactly like you do. How dare you? Joy starts, her voice shaking with rage. No, how dare you? Luke is shouting now, full volume, his voice echoing off the walls. Security guards are starting to move toward the stage. You bring me on this show under completely false pretenses. You attack me personally. You insult my music. You insult my fans. You mock everything I stand for. And then you have the absolute audacity to act like you're the victim here, like I'm the one being unreasonable. That's absolutely insane. Sunny Hostin tries one more time to speak, her voice barely above a whisper. Luke, please, I think if we could just take a moment I'm done, Luke says flatly, finally getting his microphone pack off and throwing it onto the chair with such force that it bounces off and hits the floor. The sound echoes through the silent studio. I'm not doing this anymore. This is the single most disrespectful, unprofessional thing I've ever experienced on television in my entire career, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. Joy throws her hands up in the air dramatically. Oh, please, if you think this is disrespectful, if this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, then you've lived a very sheltered, privileged life. And if you think this kind of behavior is acceptable, if you think treating people like this is okay, then you've completely lost your damn mind. Luke fires back instantly. He starts walking toward the exit, his boots heavy on the studio floor. Every eye in the building is on him. The audience is watching in stunned silence. Some people are actually crying. Others look angry. The energy is completely chaotic. But Joy, being Joy, absolutely cannot help herself. She has to get the last word in. She always has to get the last word in. Go ahead and run back to your tour bus, Luke, she shouts after him, her voice dripping with contempt. I'm sure your fans will eat up whatever victim story you want to spin about this. I'm sure they'll all rush to defend you on social media. Luke stops dead in his tracks at the edge of the stage. He stands there for a moment, his back to everyone. You can see his shoulders rise and fall as he takes a deep breath. Then slowly, he turns around one final time. The look on his face is something between devastation and pure anger. You know what the saddest part about all of this is, Joy? His voice is quieter now, but somehow more impactful because of it. I actually used to respect you. Growing up, watching you on TV, I used to think you were funny and smart and fearless. I admired how you spoke your mind and didn't let anyone push you around. But now, I see what you really are. You're just bitter and mean. And you get off on making other people feel small. And that's really, truly disappointing. You can see the words hit Joy like physical blows. Her face goes pale. Her mouth opens like she's going to say something, but nothing comes out. For maybe the first time in this entire confrontation, she actually looks hurt. Get off my stage, she finally manages to say, but her voice cracks. It's barely audible. Gladly, Luke responds coldly. Best decision I'll make all year. Whoopi stands up, making one final desperate attempt to salvage something, anything, from this disaster. Luke, please, let's just take a commercial break and talk about this. Let's cool off and... But Luke is already past the point of no return. He's walking away from the cameras, past the stunned producers who are frantically trying to figure out what to do, past the makeup people and assistants who are all standing around with their mouths hanging open. Don't bother, he calls back without even turning around. I wouldn't come back on this show if you paid me $10 million. Joy sits back down heavily in her chair, her hands visibly shaking. The other hosts look absolutely shell-shocked. Alyssa literally has her head in her hands, elbows on the table. Sarah's eyes are watery, like she might actually cry. Sunny is just staring at Joy with an expression that's somewhere between disappointment and disbelief. Whoopi looks exhausted, like she just aged 10 years in the span of this interview. Well, Joy finally says, trying desperately to regain some composure, trying to sound tough and unbothered. I guess some people just can't handle real talk. I guess some people just want everyone to agree with them all the time. But her voice wavers. It cracks. You can tell she knows this didn't go the way she wanted. She knows this is going to be everywhere by tomorrow morning. She knows the internet is about to absolutely destroy her. The audience is still silent. The energy in the room feels like someone died. A few people are actually getting up and leaving, walking out of the taping. They can't even sit through the rest of the show. The mood is completely destroyed. Backstage, you can hear raised voices. Luke is clearly having heated words with someone, probably the producers, probably his management. His voice carries back to the studio, even through the walls. No, I'm not coming back out there. Are you out of your mind? That was a setup from the very beginning. You guys knew exactly what was going to happen. You probably planned it. There's muffled arguing, other voices trying to calm him down, trying to reason with him. I don't give a shit about the contract. Sue me if you want to. Take me to court. I'm not spending another second in this building with that woman. On stage, Whoopi is trying to throw to commercial, but she's clearly completely rattled, stumbling over her words. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back we'll be right back. Just stay with us. She trails off because she doesn't even know what they're coming back to. Their guest is gone. The show is in complete shambles. There's no recovering from this. Joy sits there at the table, arms still crossed defensively, jaw set in that stubborn way of hers. She's not apologizing. She's not backing down. She's not admitting she did anything wrong. But if you look close, if you really look at her eyes, you can see that she knows. She knows this went too far. She knows she crossed a line, but her pride won't let her admit it. The cameras finally cut to commercial, and the second they do, the studio erupts into absolute chaos. Producers are running around frantically. The other hosts immediately surround Joy, and you can tell from their body language that they are not happy with her. Sunny is clearly upset, gesturing with her hands. Alyssa is shaking her head. Even Whoopi, who usually stays out of conflicts, looks angry. Through the backstage area, past the maze of hallways and dressing rooms, Luke Bryan is already in his vehicle in the parking garage. His management team and handlers are scrambling, phones out, probably already crafting statements, calling lawyers, trying to figure out how to handle the fallout from this absolute disaster. But Luke himself just sits there in the back seat of the car, staring out the window, shaking his head slowly in complete disbelief at what just happened to him. The door slams shut with a heavy thunk. The engine starts, and the vehicle pulls away from the studio, driving off into the New York traffic, leaving behind what is absolutely going to be remembered as one of the most explosive, controversial, talked about moments in talk show history. Inside the studio, Joy Behar refuses to back down, standing by every single word she said, even as her co-hosts surround her, even as the producers panic, even as the entire production falls apart around her. She sits there with her arms crossed, her jaw set, absolutely refusing to admit she was wrong.